All right, so today we're diving into a career that's really at the heart of the shipbuilding industry,
Definitely.
vessel assembly inspector. And we're going to be using some great resources from RoleCatcher to help us with this deep dive.
Sounds good.
They've got these really interesting career guides and sample interview questions and even some AI tools that can help people prepare for interviews.
It's a role that's all about precision. You know, those massive ships,
Right.
all those intricate systems, the pipes, the wells, everything has to be absolutely perfect to withstand the open ocean.
Yeah, it's incredible when you think about like the scale of these ships and the conditions they have to endure.
Absolutely. And that's where a vessel assembly inspector comes in,
Yeah.
making sure every single component meets the strictest safety and engineering standards.
Okay, so let's jump right into some of those interview questions because I think that's where people get really nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they want to know, like, what are they going to ask me? How do I answer it well?
Yeah. Well, one of the first ones you'll likely hear is describe your experience with vessel assembly.
Okay.
And this is your chance to really showcase your skills. Don't just list job titles, talk about specific projects you were involved in.
Give me an example.
Sure, so let's say you worked on assembling tanks or pressure vessels or piping systems. Talk about those experiences.
Right, so it's not just I was a welder for 5 years. It's like I was a welder for 5 years, and during that time I worked on this specific project that involved these types of welds and these challenges.
Exactly. Paint a picture for them. Show them you have hands-on experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, RoleCatcher actually has this cool AI tool that can help with this, right?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
So it can actually analyze a job description and then suggest how to tailor your response to exactly what the employer is looking for.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for your interview.
That's awesome. Okay, so they might follow up on that experience question with something like, what were some of the challenges you faced during vessel assembly and how did you overcome them?
Right. They want to see your problem-solving skills.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle those unexpected hiccups that pop up all the time in a shipyard?
Like what kind of hiccups are we talking about?
Oh, it could be anything. A weld that fails inspection, a component that doesn't align properly.
Oh, yeah.
They want to know how you identify the problem, analyze the cause, and then come up with a solution.
So it's not just about knowing the technical stuff. It's also about being able to think on your feet.
Absolutely. And keeping safety and quality top of mind.
Okay, next up, tools and equipment. A common question is, what tools and equipment have you used for vessel assembly?
Now, it's tempting to just list every tool you've ever seen.
Right, like rattle it off.
But remember, focus on the tools you're truly comfortable with and explain how you've used them.
So instead of just saying welding machine, I should describe the types of welding machines I've used.
Exactly. Like
Or-
MIG, TIG, stick.
Yeah.
And explain the specific welding processes you're familiar with.
And be prepared for follow-up questions.
Oh, for sure.
They might ask you to explain the difference between those welding types or get into the settings you'd use for a particular weld.
They want to see that you have a depth understanding of the tools and the techniques.
Okay, let's talk about alignment. Because I imagine in shipbuilding, everything has to fit together perfectly.
Precision is key. And they'll likely ask, how do you ensure that vessel components are aligned and fit together properly?
So what are some good things to mention here?
Talk about your experience with laser alignment systems, jigs, fixtures, those tools that guarantee everything lines up perfectly.
And don't forget to mention those double checks and adjustments. You know, that meticulous attention to detail?
It's about showcasing that combination of technical skills and that meticulous approach.
Now, speaking of meticulousness, let's talk welding.
Hmm?
They might ask, what types of welding defects have you encountered during vessel assembly, and how did you address them?
This is where your welding knowledge really comes into play.
Right.
It's not just about knowing the names of the defects, but understanding their causes and the corrective actions.
So like if I see porosity, those little holes in the weld metal, I need to know why they're there, how they impact the weld strength, and what to do about it.
Exactly. It could involve adjusting the welding parameters, changing the shielding gas, or even grinding out the defect and re-welding it.
It's problem solving in action. And RoleCatcher can actually help you practice answering these complex questions.
Oh yeah, their AI is great for that.
It can analyze your responses and give you feedback on how clear and technically accurate you are.
Like having a virtual welding expert in your pocket.
I love that. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about quality standards and regulations. A really important question is, how do you ensure that vessels meet quality standards and regulatory requirements?
Yes. The world of acronyms, ASME, API, OSHA.
But it's not enough to just know the acronyms, right?
Definitely. You need to explain what they represent and how they directly impact your work.
Give me an example.
Sure, you could say something like, I ensure compliance with ASME Section 8, which outlines the rules for pressure vessels by meticulously checking weld quality, material thickness, and pressure testing procedures.
So you're showing them that you understand how those regulations translate into real-world inspection procedures.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that you're not just blindly following rules, but you understand the why behind them.
Okay, let's tackle a question that's a little more about your people skills. Describe a time when you had to resolve a conflict with a coworker or supervisor during vessel assembly.
Conflict is bound to happen in any workplace.
Especially in a shipyard, I imagine.
Exactly. So the key here is to choose a specific example and focus on your role in resolving the conflict.
So did you listen to both sides, communicate clearly and respectfully, find a compromise?
It's about showing that you can handle those tricky situations professionally and make sure the conflict doesn't derail the project.
And I think RoleCatcher's AI can even give you some tips on communication styles that might resonate with a particular company culture.
It's another way to tailor your answers and make a good impression.
Okay, last question for this section. How do you prioritize and manage multiple tasks and projects during vessel assembly?
Think about that bustling shipyard environment.
Right.
Deadlines looming, multiple projects demanding your attention. How do you stay organized?
Do you use a to-do list, a project management software?
It's about finding a system that works for you and being able to communicate effectively with your team, keeping everyone in the loop about progress and any roadblocks that come up.
Yeah, communication is key, especially in that kind of environment.
Absolutely. Now, safety is huge in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll want to know how committed you are to keeping things safe. So they might ask you, how do you maintain a safe work environment during vessel assembly?
Okay, so this is where you talk about all those OSHA regulations and safety protocols and your experience actually putting them into practice.
Right. But don't just rattle off a list of rules.
Yeah.
Show them that you're proactive about safety. Tell them about a time you spotted a potential hazard and what you did about it.
Like a frayed cable or someone not wearing the right safety gear.
Exactly. You're not just following the rules, you're actively creating a culture of safety.
You're being that extra set of eyes looking out for everyone.
Okay, let's move on to a question about leadership. What strategies do you use to motivate and lead a team during vessel assembly?
So even if I'm not applying for a management position, they still want to know about my leadership skills.
Definitely. They want to see how you work within a team and how you inspire others.
So think about your leadership style. Are you collaborative? Are you results-oriented? Do you lead by example?
Give them specific examples of how you've motivated team members and created a positive work environment.
Okay. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you figure out what kind of leadership style might resonate with a particular company.
It's all about tailoring your answers to make the best impression.
So we've covered some tough interview questions, but let's zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture, the career path itself.
Because landing the job is just the first step.
All right, what comes after? What are the opportunities for growth in this field?
Well, the cool thing is there are a lot of different directions you can go. You could specialize in a particular area of inspection.
Like what?
Welding or piping systems, you become the go-to expert in that area.
So you can really carve out your niche.
Exactly. Or you could move into quality assurance, taking a broader view of the whole construction process.
Okay.
Some inspectors even go on to work for government agencies like the Coast Guard, focusing on maritime safety and regulations.
Wow. So you could go from inspecting individual vessels to influencing safety standards for the whole industry.
That's right. And RoleCatcher really emphasizes the importance of continuous learning in this field.
Makes sense. Things are always changing, new technologies, new materials.
Exactly. A good inspector needs to be adaptable and always learning.
So it's like a continuous journey of learning and growing.
That's a great way to put it. Now let's talk about those just starting out.
Okay, what does that entry-level experience look like?
What does that entry-level experience look like? Well, RoleCatcher says you'll likely be assisting senior inspectors learning the ropes from the pros.
So it's like an apprenticeship.
Yeah, you'll be observing their techniques, mastering the equipment, and meticulously documenting everything.
Building that foundation.
Exactly. And as you move up to junior level positions, you'll take on more responsibility conducting independent inspections, coordinating repairs, and providing more detailed documentation.
So you're gradually gaining more autonomy and expertise.
Right, and this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful.
How so?
Well, let's say you're prepping for an interview for a junior level position. You can input the job description into RoleCatcher,
Okay.
and their AI will analyze it and tell you exactly what skills and experience they're looking for.
So you can tailor your resume and your answers to hit those key points.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket.
That's amazing. And they also offer AI-powered feedback on video practice sessions, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. You can record yourself answering those tough interview questions
Mhm.
and then get detailed feedback on your delivery, your body language, and the content of your answers.
Like a virtual interview panel giving you tips.
Exactly. It's a great way to boost your confidence and polish your presentation skills.
And RoleCatcher also encourages you to build a portfolio to showcase your work.
Yeah, go beyond the resume. Highlight your inspection documentation, successful projects, any repairs you've overseen.
So it's like a visual representation of your skills and accomplishments.
And don't underestimate the power of networking.
Networking.
Attend industry events, join online forums, connect with people on LinkedIn.
Get your name out there.
Exactly. It's all about being proactive, building relationships, and staying connected to what's happening in the industry.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the skills and the career path, but every job has its pros and cons.
Right. It's important to be aware of those.
So what are some of the pros and cons of being a vessel assembly inspector?
Well, RoleCatcher's career guide mentions good paid job security and plenty of opportunities for advancement.
That's good to hear, especially in today's job market.
And you're working in a skilled trade that's always in demand.
Okay, so those are the pros. What about the cons?
Well, the guide mentions that the work can be physically demanding.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You might be working in tight spaces at heights exposed to the elements and dealing with heavy machinery.
So it's not for everyone.
Right. And it can also be repetitive at times, conducting inspections, following procedures, and documenting everything meticulously.
So you need to be detail-oriented and okay with routine.
But for the right person, those downsides are outweighed by the satisfaction of knowing you're contributing to the safety and quality of these incredible vessels.
It's about knowing that your work has a real impact.
Exactly. You're making sure that ships are built to the highest standards so they can transport people and goods safely across the ocean.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the human side of things, but what about the future? How is technology, specifically AI, changing the game for vessel assembly inspectors?
That's a great question, and it's something everyone in the industry is thinking about. AI is already being used in shipyards around the world.
In what ways?
Well, imagine drones with high-resolution cameras and sensors. They can inspect those hard-to-reach areas of a ship's hull much more efficiently and accurately.
Wow, that would be a game changer.
Right. No more climbing scaffolding or squeezing into tight spaces. And AI-powered software can analyze inspection data and spot patterns and potential issues that humans might miss.
So it's like having a second set of eyes,
Yeah,
but even more powerful.
exactly. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
It sounds like AI is going to become an essential tool for vessel assembly inspectors.
Absolutely. And it's making the industry even safer and more efficient.
It's an exciting time to be entering this field, that's for sure.
With technology constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
All right. Before we move on to our final thoughts, let's take a quick pause. When we come back, we'll explore how to navigate this ever-changing landscape and set yourself up for success in this fascinating field. And we're back, wrapping up our deep dive into the world of vessel assembly inspectors. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we have from the technical skills to the interview process to the career path itself.
And even the impact of AI on the future of the industry.
It's a lot to take in, but it's all important if you're serious about this career.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, I think it's important to remember that this isn't just any job. We're talking about the safety and efficiency of global maritime trade,
You're going to be responsible for making sure those ships are built to the highest standards.
capable of handling anything the ocean throws at them.
Exactly. Every weld, every measurement, every component you inspected all matter.
It's about understanding that your work has real-world consequences.
And that even the smallest oversight could have a big impact.
So attention to detail is crucial. And as we talked about earlier, this industry is always evolving.
Right. New technologies, new materials, new construction methods.
So you got to be willing to learn and adapt throughout your career.
And RoleCatcher is a great resource for that. They've got all kinds of information to help you stay up to date.
Industry news, networking opportunities, even AI-powered tools.
It's like having a whole support system in your pocket.
I like that. So as you go into that interview, remember to showcase your passion for this field.
Definitely.
Highlight your commitment to quality and safety. Show them you're eager to learn and grow.
And don't forget about those AI-powered tools from RoleCatcher. They can really help you prepare and tailor your answers.
Yeah, it's like having a personalized coach to guide you through the process.
So with the right preparation, a commitment to lifelong learning, and a genuine passion for this unique field.
You can absolutely build a successful and fulfilling career as a vessel assembly inspector.
Absolutely.
Good luck with your interview, and remember, the future of shipbuilding relies on skilled professionals like you.
Dedicated to upholding the highest standards of safety and quality.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And be sure to check out RoleCatcher if you're interested in learning more about this exciting career path.